What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Mountain Men Outdoors. Today's video talking about European skull mounts, and I'm going to show you how we go from this to this. Stay tuned. All right, guys, here's a buck that I killed opening weekend, which was last weekend, and a lot of people love European mounts, and I love them myself, but a lot of times it's really expensive if you want to have somebody do it for you. So I'm going to show you how I do it myself, and it saves me $75 to $100 every time I want to do it. So before you get started, of course, you've got to get the hide off of the skull, and it's not like caping one for taxidermy purposes. Of course, if you're going to do it for taxidermy purposes, you definitely don't cut the neck off and the hide off right there. So this is just for European mounts. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to cut right down his forehead here, and I'm going to cut out the back, and I'm just going to peel all the skin away. And once I get that done, this is what it's going to look like. This is the deer my daughter killed on youth weekend. So that's what it's going to look like. I'll put you on time lapse, and I'll go ahead and get this done. All right, now we've got the hide off of the head, and I want to show you something else that I do personally at this stage. There's two types of ways that I do this sometimes. The first way is the more natural look. This type of European mount goes really good on like a pedestal, something that's going to be off the wall more, because see the way these teeth are, you can't mount that flat against the wall. So what I do is I do it like this, and what I'll actually do, I'm going to turn this deer head up and I'll saw right straight down through there, and that way it mounts flat against the wall. That's how I like to do them. And so before you get started on this, kind of have it in your mind whether you want to mount this on the wall or whether you want to have it on a pedestal, and that can save you a lot of time. So for me, on these particular two that I'm doing today, they're both going on the wall, so I've cut both of them's teeth off, and that's what I'm fixing to do on mine. I've already done that on my daughter's buck, but I'm going to show you that process. If you have a weak stomach, look away. If you're triggered, look away. As a matter of fact, if you're triggered, you might not like my channel to begin with, but I love you anyway. All right, so in order to make this thing mount flat against the wall, I'm cutting in a line. I'm going to start right here at his teeth, and I'm going to cut a line and be about an inch to a half inch below his eye socket, and then I'm going to come right out the back of the head. That makes a good flat surface for that thing to mount flat against the wall. All right, guys, we've got them cut off. They're now ready to go into the boiling water. So I've just got a propane burner, a big pot. As soon as that starts boiling, we're going to drop them in there. All right, it's getting hot enough. We'll go ahead and ease them both in there. We'll let them go until the meat starts just falling off the bone, basically. We're just gonna cook. All right, guys, I just checked these. They've been boiling for about an hour and a half. You can see how everything's just falling right off. So now's the time where I take this off, and I'll take a pair of needle nose pliers and I'll just pick all this stuff off and clean everything up real good. But that's what they're looking like at this point. All right, guys, let's let these things cool down just a little bit. So there's where we're at. So I'm gonna start, I got these pliers. I'm gonna just start picking some of this old stuff off and getting rid of some of the sinus cavities. And of course they'll come out here. And this is kind of like a really nasty part. This is why a lot of people pay to somebody have it done, but it's not terrible. If you do have any questions or anything I can help you with, just leave me a comment and I'd be glad to. I'll try to answer every comment that I get. So if you do have any questions or anything to add, definitely leave me a comment. Alright guys, here we are. So it didn't take no time, wasn't no big deal. It's a little nasty, but ain't nothing old mountain man can't handle. So anyway, what I'm gonna do now, I got all the big stuff off here. Gonna let this dry, and then there's some old filmy layers of skim and fat, but I'll scrape them off with a knife. Now I'll tell you something else that you can do. Depending, a lot of times these skulls don't turn out a real brilliant white. So I've heard a lot of people talk about, you can use peroxide, soak them in peroxide, you can soak them in bleach. I've heard a lot of different things. But the simplest thing that I found to do, I'll take these, if I want them a lot whiter than what they are, I'll tape off my horns. And once this is dry really good, I'll just spray paint the thing white. And it turns out really good. But anyway, there you go, guys. There is a European skull mount, mountain man style. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Y'all have a good day.